Yeah, this video is about being aware and making decisions when to close and fold and when you should react. A few minutes ago I pulled into the gas station, got out the car, went inside to pay for my gas, but realized the line was too long, so I just went ahead and used my car at the pump. So I pumped my car, I filled my truck with gas, and a car pulled up behind me. So I look inside the car. The car had tape all over the windows. It was banged up pretty bad. So I look inside the car, and the person that was in the car was somebody who I got into a fight with a long time ago. But I don't think, he knew I looked familiar, but I remember him. He knew I looked familiar, but he didn't really know who I was, and I could tell by the way he was looking at me. But my whole point of making this video is you never know when you're gonna run into your enemy. And if you're not paying attention, your enemy could sneak up right behind you and take your life and have his way with you just because of something that y'all had a disagreement with in the past. So, it's important that when we face with enemies or when we have problems and issues with people, it's important that we resolve them. A lot of times we get into it with people, get into fights, get into arguments, saying that you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to kill him and he going to kill you. Like, when we don't resolve those issues, it's a possibility that somebody could continue to carry that issue, even if it was a problem or issue that happened 10 to 20 years ago. Some people are still want to run a fade with you over something that happened 20 years ago. Some people still want to be your enemy over something that happened over 20 years ago. So that's why it's important that as much as possible, just avoid being in conflict with people and avoid making enemies with people. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people hold on to that energy and they don't let that shit go. And some people, as time go on, you may have evolved and grown into a different person, but that person may have grown into a different person, and that might be a more negative person. They may not have nothing to lose, but you may have got your life right, or you had a family, or you got married, or you just became a better person than you were. But because of the unresolved issues that you had in your past, it could come back to haunt you. But you never know when you're going to run into your enemy. And you will run into people that you don't expect to run into. You will. It will eventually happen. So you better hope that whoever you run into is not still holding the idea of that he going to mess you up when he see you. You better hope he not holding on to the idea of you beat him up, so now he got to get you back because you hurt his ego. So he got to do something to feel better about himself because he lost all of his cool points in the hood because you whooped him. You mollywopped him all over the floor, and he still got to live with that every single day. You may have got on with your life because you won the fight, and you might feel good about yourself. Oh, I was looking at a little job that came through. You might be feeling good about yourself, but the person who you had the issue with and the person who you may have defeated, they want a round two. So the lesson that we learned from this story is that when you make an enemy and you don't resolve the issue that you had with your enemy, it's a high chance that if you see that enemy in the past, you may have changed, but that person may not have changed. And then you're going to have to fight for your life over something old. Y'all might have had a fight when y'all was in high school and you whooped them in high school. Now that y'all done turned 40 and 50 years old, he want a rematch because they still talking about how you whooped them in high school today. So he got to prove himself. He got to get his ego back. So you just got to be aware of these things. And if you're a young man or a young woman or a person, period, anybody, try to talk about it. A lot of times we make enemies with people and we never be like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. We had a disagreement. Let's shake hands and move on. We don't do that as people. Well, most people don't do that. And if you're the type of person that hang around in hostile environments, it's a possibility that you might have more than one enemy. And that gives you a bigger chance of running into a person that might still got a problem with you over something that happened 20 years ago. It's a big possibility. So just going forward, you just gotta put good vibes and good energy, because if you put out bad vibes and you don't resolve those bad vibes, that bad vibe and that bad energy is gonna find its way back to you. You reap what you sow. But anyway, the dude didn't recognize me, and he went on in the gas station, and I hopped in my car and I drove off. But it could have been different if he would have remembered who I was, remembered that I whooped him, and had to have a round two with me because he felt like he need that to keep his ego going, because he tired of being judged and picked on because he lost a fight. So, try to stay out of trouble. Don't get into it with people. Just avoid that, period. Because it's never a good outcome when you got a whole bunch of enemies. I got enemies, got a lot of enemies. You don't want to have a lot of enemies. You want to have some frenemies. You want to have some friends who are friendly. Okay? You don't want to have to watch your back when you go out. You want to be able to go out and run into people who got resources. Run into people who want to give you a handshake and not a hand slap. You want to be around helpers, not hinderers. So that's what it is. Resolve your problems. Resolve your issues. Learn to forgive people. Get over it. And I'm out. This your boy Double OG Truth Seeker, a.k.a. Lionheart. I'm out of here.